Is a lawsuit real, even if it's not filed? Before I went to law school, I thought every lawsuit has to be filed. Because we often talk about when lawsuits start as when was it filed? What is the filing date of the lawsuit? So I was shocked to find out that some lawsuits do not have to be filed to be real and exist and have every form of life that another filed lawsuit would have. This is known in legal circles as pocket service, and it doesn't exist in every state, but states like Minnesota allow for the starting of a lawsuit prior to filing. I'm talking about in state court. Most courts require a lawsuit to be filed in order for it to start. And in fact, usually there's a second requirement, which is not only does the lawsuit have to be filed, it needs to be served on the other party, the defendant. And then the clock starts ticking. But Minnesota has a unique law, and there may be some other states that still have this, but I don't think it's many. And it's called pocket service. And basically, in Minnesota, you don't file a case first. You serve it on the other side. And then, once that document, that summons and complaint is served, the lawsuit has begun. Now, what's interesting is there's no public record of it. The courts don't know about it. Nobody can find out about it unless the two parties in the lawsuit tell somebody or file it in court. Now, the law says in Minnesota right now, you do have to file that lawsuit within 1 year. But for 1 year, that lawsuit can sit there privately. Why does Minnesota allow this? The idea behind it is that if parties want to settle and keep this matter private, why bother the court with it? Why involve the legal system and incur taxpayer costs and court attention when the parties can work something out? So in Minnesota, once a lawsuit is served, it starts. The lawsuit has begun. It has officially commenced. And the parties either can settle the case, and that settlement can be entirely private and never filed in the court, or the parties can file the case in the court, or if nothing happens within a year, the case by law is considered dismissed with prejudice, which basically means it can't be filed again. So, if you commence a lawsuit in Minnesota and you don't file it within 1 year, your lawsuit is officially dismissed, even though no judges and no court has ever seen it. So, is it possible to have a real lawsuit, actual litigation that's never been filed in a court? Yes, it is. It's possible in some states like Minnesota, and in fact, every Minnesota lawsuit typically starts with the service of a lawsuit, so the hand delivery of it on a person, without actually filing it in the court. It might be filed a week later, it might be filed months later, but the lawsuit begins upon service of process or service of the documents on the other party, not upon filing in Minnesota State Court. So yes, it is certainly possible for lawsuits to be not filed and still be real. Those lawsuits are confidential, and that is actually the typical way here in Minnesota. All right, I'm Aaron Hall. I'm an attorney for business owners and entrepreneurs. I do this educational channel to help you spot issues to discuss with your attorney, to help you identify ways to avoid problems. But keep in mind, it's an educational channel. This is not a replacement for using an attorney who understands the law in your state, in your jurisdiction, and can take the time to understand your particular goals and concerns and exceptions that might apply to you. I'd love for you to get the exclusive free resource that we make available to subscribers. It's a list of common legal problems and how to avoid them, and then videos, educational videos talking about how to avoid those problems in your company and set your company up for success. You can get that at aaronhall.com/free. Enter your email address, and we will start sending you that information by email.